Thank you for joining us. I'm Aram Talegian, San Gabriel Valley Newspaper Group football writer, joined by Fred J. Robledo, the San Gabriel Valley Tribune Prep Sports Editor. Freddie, a very big day around the Tribune office here. The first ever San Gabriel Valley coaches poll for the Tribune area, top 20 coaches poll. I don't think that's ever been done.
Real significant, Aaron, because we put out a top 10 poll in the paper. I do a super poll on the blog, and it's always the most debated thing that we have because you're ranking teams in far different divisions. You know, where does Bishop Amat rank when you compare them against a Valley Vista League team that might go 8-0,
right,
and Charter Oak and so forth. And you have these real, what we call super leagues in our area, and what would equate to maybe the mid-majors or some of the lower leagues, and you're trying to rank them together. So it's interesting to get a coach's poll, a coach's perspective,
of course,
on how they would rank these top 20. And you're going to unveil it right now. And I think what you're going to find is it's a lot similar to where we put them. I mean, there's a lot of respect for the higher leagues all the way down, and I think it's a ranking.
That's something you wouldn't expect, Fred. Coaches and sports writers to agree on something.
Yeah, but
here you have it.
I think that there's one area where they're not going to agree.
Okay.
Which you're going to get into this top 20, and we can talk about it. But
go
ahead.
Again, we want to thank the coaches. Well, I should say that we're going to thank the coaches for the first time right now for their participation in this. We got the majority of the coaches in the area to participate. It's all done anonymously. Freddie has no clue who voted for what. I'm the only one that knows, and nobody's going to find out. So it was completely anonymous, and that kind of helped the coaches get past any kind of fears that they may have had of doing this. So without further ado, let's break it down. Freddie, we'll start 20 and work our way down to 1. Number 20, Covina. Like we kind of said here, you stop me whenever you feel like it. Number 19, Diamond Bar with 1 first place vote.
Okay, we've got to stop it right there.
Okay,
Diamond Bar with a first place vote. I mean, if this isn't Roddy Layton voting for Diamond Bar, I don't know who did. I mean, he's been trying to hype this game up, Aaron, the last 4 or 5 years, and to see Diamond Bar with a number 1 vote it's kind of ridiculous. I mean, if they don't have that vote, they're probably not a top 20
team.
They're
not in the top 20.
They probably knock Pomona out, who would be your number 21 team.
Right.
So obviously someone's playing with us a little bit there, throwing. That's not a real number 1 ranking. That's more of a.
Hey, if somebody feels that they deserve the number 1 spot, then God bless them. They have gotten a lot of hype this summer.
This is probably why the Mid Valley Division poll is so screwed up because of votes like this.
Okay,
but,
fair enough.
Ahead.
Okay, we'll get right into 18 now. Rosemead, 17, Arroyo, the 2 Mission Valley League stalwarts.
Yeah, that just kind of lets you know what coaches are thinking, that the Mission Valley League has the most to prove. They're probably going into this year, based on what happened last year, is the worst league in the area. They haven't done well. Rosemead 2 years ago did get to the championship game, but last year all of their leagues really struggled. So this is not a surprise at all.
All right, and we'll probably further that point here in a second. 16, Baldwin Park, 15, Walnut. 14, Azusa.
Yeah, Azusa, the defending Montview League champion, did get to the semifinals last year, and I think
they're 4 spots ahead of
that's a fair ranking for Azusa. I had them a lot higher in my poll that will come out in the Tribune because I think that Joe Scherf has done a tremendous job. But when you look at what the Montview League did last year, they were surprised. I mean, more than half of their teams had better than 500 records. So
so your Montview champ 4 spots ahead of your Mission Valley League champ. Plus Azusa's had a big summer. Won a passing league tournament, Fred, which I don't know if you.
It doesn't mean anything. I don't know what passing league has to do with September.
To some people, that does mean something. Ayala checks in at 13th. Claremont 12. Bonita 11, and now we're right to the edge of the top 10 here, Freddie. So if you don't have anything else to say,
I like Claremont and Ayala. We should point out right now that those are 2 Sierra League teams, and the other 4 Sierra League teams are going to be ranked ahead of them, are going to be ranked higher. So that's a lot of respect for the Sierra League. All 6 of their teams in the top 13 really shows you that every single game is going to be a battle.
Right. Okay, so we'll get into the top 10 now. Roland checks in at 10. Damien, my first real issue with this ranking, I think Damien at number 9 is a little high.
Well, where do you think Damien should be, Aaron?
I don't think they're a top 10 team to start the season. They've lost too much, and I think this ranking is based on reputation more than anything. They have a great coaching staff, as we know, but coaching's only going to take you so far in a league where you need to have horses.
When our Tribune poll comes out, I didn't have them in the top 10 either. I've thought about that a lot, and I'm not surprised, and I have no problem with the coaches putting them at number 9 just because this is Damien, because of their football tradition. I think when you look at these teams ranked below them, these are all teams that they can beat. This is a team that traditionally they have some size, they have impact guys, and I think Gano's playing with us a little bit when he says they're as down as He says they
You
are.
really think Gano's playing?
Yeah. I don't think they're that down.
Right. Okay.
But again, it's going to be a very tough league that they're competing in. So
Okay, fair enough. 8, San Dimas, your Mid Valley Division champion.
they're very, very deserving because Coach Zernico deserves to be mentioned with the best coaches in the area now. The Wizard of the Wing Z that I like to call him. I mean, last year was a year nobody expected them to even win league, let alone a Mid Valley Division title. It's part of that system. Every time someone plays San Dimas, they always talk about preparing for that wing tee and how difficult it is.
Right.
And they have enough guys coming back where they're going to be right there again, Aram. And I can't wait to see them play Rancho Cucamonga. I can't wait to see them play a team in that division, the Inland Division, to really see where they're at. We're going to have the first real comparison outside of them playing Bonita and Sludge Pot game.
That's true.
They play
That's a
Rancho
great point. Okay, 7, Diamond Ranch. 6th is West Covina, and 5th is Glendora. Now, there's only 1 point, not 1 vote, but 1 point separating Glendora and West Covina. That's Glendora with 357,
you could
West
flip-flop
Covina with
those.
356. Fair enough. We moved to number 4, Freddie. This is where I have sort of an issue here. Another one. I think this one's based more on reputation, again, kind of like Damien was, than reality, and that's South Hills at number 4. Your thoughts there?
Well, I think it's fine. I think when you look at what South Hills has coming back with
Without Jamie Canada. I mean, I'm assuming that he's out.
they voted this based on him being there.
I mean,
even without him there, you're talking
Okay.
about one of the best offensive lines, if not the best offensive line in the area. These guys go both ways. I mean, they got 3 hogs up front. You're talking about Vincent Hernandez returning at quarterback, Jamal Hart, who I absolutely loved last year at running back, returning. If Canada comes back, it's a plus. But look, South Hills year in and year out, they've actually played a pretty decent schedule and done well. They've lost to La Habra 2 years in a row, but and competed well against La Habra. They beat Ayala last year. They lose to Diamond Ranch twice in the playoffs. They beat West Covina last year.
they're ranked ahead of Diamond Ranch again. I know that's got to make Roddy Layton happy.
Well, Roddy Layton, there's no Gus Viramontes coming out of the huddle this year. There's no Brian Spurgeon. They lost a lot of players and have a lot to prove. So if we're talking about 2010, I'm not surprised that South Hills is at number 4, and I have no problem with them there.
Fair enough. Chino Hills checks in at number 3, Freddie, with 7 first-place votes. Your thoughts on that? 7 first-place votes.
Well, it's a surprise.
7 coaches think that's the number 1 team in the area.
It's a surprise because I think that our number 1 team, when you announce it in a few seconds, should have had more first-place votes. I'm surprised that a lot of people think that number 3 should be ranked ahead of our number 1 or should have more first-place votes. But I'm not surprised because Chino Hills probably has more coming back than anyone. They are the defending Sierra League champions, which says a lot.
It's a 3-way tie last year.
3-way tie, yeah, you're right, 3-way tie. But they have the impact guys back.
Of course, yeah.
And that's not a surprise. The surprise to me is the number of first place votes that people think they're better than our number 1.
Right.
But I think overall, when you look at Charter Oak number 2, that just means to me Charter Oak had a lot of number 2 votes. A lot of people
across the board, Charter Oak had more points.
And they should be, Aram. I mean,
right, of course.
Don't believe what Coach Lou Farrar says when he says they're a young team. He says this every single year. He's been saying that the last 10 years. They've got Travis Santiago, who's looked extremely sharp. Dennis Rufus. Mm-hmm. They've got guys up front like Andy Orozco. We were wondering who's going to replace Adam Wem at running back, and you and I both saw about 3 guys who look real capable. They always have guys that step in. They have a great coaching staff. They have a system. They are ready for this challenge. I think this could become, and I've told this to Coach Farrar, their finest hour if they pull this off and have a great year.
I agree with you. Okay, so that's Charter Oak at 2 with 2 first-place votes and number 1 overall. It's not even close here, Freddie. Bishop Amat, 14 first-place votes, 470 total points. I agree with that. You agree with it?
Well, the only surprise is that they don't have every first place vote, Aram. When you win this when you're co-champs in the Sarah League, Aram, which is what you've said is the best league in the country.
Right.
When you get to the quarterfinals of the Pac-5 and you look at the teams that they beat last year, week in and week out, they play such an extremely tough schedule. No surprise to me at all. Bishop Amat deserves to be there. When they go 10-2, they deserve to be there. And until they start losing games, they haven't lost to a team in the area in 10 years. Until they start losing games to area teams or losing games, period, they are the number 1 team. Absolutely no doubt about it.
Okay, there you have it. Feel free to discuss it on the blogs. First ever Tribune coaches poll. Enjoy it.